How do you start a video? So my mic is still not working. I decided I'll just just do it like this. So this video is about editing, basically not actually going inside the software and actually telling you how to split footage into two and multiple portions and stuff like that. This is just basically the idea of editing, basic stuff. Literally something which you wouldn't find a lot on the internet. There are a few channels I really enjoy watching, but not many. And so if you're starting out with editing, this is something which you wouldn't find easily. You will find if you look hard enough, but not very easily. I try to classify editing into simple categories. One is where you're editing just to tell a particular story. Like you don't have any story already, you have all the footage and now you're working with it and you're trying to tell something to the audience. This type of editing is what you see mostly on the internet. Wherever you go on the internet, this is the most common type of editing, unless you're watching films. If it's not a film, this is what it is. This is the type of editing they'll be using. They get the footage, they have some idea in their head, and then they try to get to that idea with all that footage, and that changes a lot of times when you're editing. Something which I'll do with this footage as well. Once I transfer it to my laptop, I'll sit down and I'll try to cut out all the pauses and all the mistakes I did. That's what my job will be when I'm editing it. And so I'm trying to tell you something with whatever footage I have. I didn't plan out the whole script. I know what I'm trying to tell you, but it's not scripted. It's very, random. Casey Neistat is one of the best examples I can put forward. This guy introduced the entire world to this type of content which we now call vlogs. You film yourself for a period of time and you gather all that footage, put it into your editing software and create something out of it. He tells stories through his vlogs. If you enjoy watching any particular vlogger, this is maybe the reason why they are really good in telling stories through their footage. The second type, which I personally like doing more, is when you try to tell a story which already exists. So you're editing to tell a story which is already there. It is written properly. It's not being improvised when you're editing. And now you try to tell that specific story using the stuff or the footage you have. You cannot really, change things according to you. I mean, you can if you wrote it, but if someone else wrote it, then you cannot. There's this Indian film called Tumbad. That film was transformed completely in the editing process. What happened basically is that they shot all the footage, they brought it to the table, and they realized that most of it is unusable. So the editor of this film, Sanyukta Kaza, what she did is that she edited the whole film using only the usable footage, and then they tried to rewrite the story of the film based upon the editing. Now, editing is basically just three things. You have to do some research, you get ideas, and then you execute those ideas, which is basically the actual process of editing. When you're sitting down and you're editing it, that's all. Okay, that's all you do. Now the research portion can be basically everything you do other than when you're editing. It simply basically means that you are watching something and you kind of liking it, and then when you're actually working on something similar by yourself, those ideas come to you and you can create different stuff. That's basically what research means. Ideas is which you get when you are trying to work on similar projects by yourself. So you sit down and you think about how you can make a particular thing more interesting or the way the client wants it to be. That's basically the whole idea process. And the execution is basically the entire whole actual sitting down and editing process. That's execution. As I said before, I'm not really going to tell you how to use a particular software because almost all the different editing softwares, they work in a very similar way. There's a timeline, there's a preview window. Timeline is basically where you literally do whatever you do when it comes to editing. You throw your footage there, cut it into different parts, add effects, text, whatever you want to do with that. Preview window is where you can see what you just did. These are the main two things. That's how almost every single video editing software works. YouTube is filled with different tutorial videos everywhere, so you can just literally search your favorite software, the one you're using, and you'll find at least 1,000 videos about one single thing. What I'm trying to tell you is how to approach this process. Now, it doesn't matter what type of editing you're going to do, one of the most basic things you can do is to just sit down, relax, and watch all the footage you have. Doesn't matter if you're editing a vlog or if you're actually editing a short film or a feature film, watch the footage you have as many times as you can. What this does is that this gives you some idea. This opens your mind to all the different ways you can cut all this footage and try to tell that story which you are trying to tell. It gives you more ideas, in simple words. The next thing you can do is gather all your ideas in one place. You don't need anything but a paper and a pen. You watch the footage, you can make notes. Now what this does is that it allows you to put all your ideas, whatever you're thinking in that moment, in one place, so that if you may forget something later, you can come back to that and see what you were thinking when you were writing all these things, and then you can later execute it, which is obviously the third and the final thing. How do you execute things? So this is the most basic explanation which you can find on the internet. All you need to do is you need to import your footage in your project window, and then just put all that footage either one by one or at the same time, depending upon how you work, on the timeline, and then do what you want to do with it. If you want to cut a particular footage, cut it. If you want to trim a particular footage, trim it. If you want to completely not use any particular footage, throw it out of the timeline. That's how you do it. Fix the audio, cut wherever you want, put transitions somewhere if you want, and that is what it is. Export the thing, you're done with your video. That's basically it. That's how you edit a video. Nothing extraordinary. It becomes extraordinary when people stop seeing the editing in whatever they're watching. Good editing is invisible. Simple as that. That was all I have for you. If you like this, do let me know. Say something in the comment section, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Take care of yourself. Don't get yourself killed. Bye.
Sleep, shit, lack of motivation, eating ass, living fast, sleep deprivation, stomach hurts, feeling worse, trying not to cry loud, piss for fun, now I'm done, your mom was plowed, don't feel like writing down anything funny, but I still wanna make that YouTube money, wanna get Domino's, share it with a blonde hoe, but I can't find my phone and she kinda said no, why does my back hurt, now I want Deezer, I don't care, in despair, nap time, nightmare, took a dump in a slump, I can hear the neighbors hump, watched a movie, looked at boobies, now I'm kinda feeling groovy.